Hello and welcome everyone. Today we are going to watch a new video, and the video is going to be for the ISC students. It is the topic Salvatore, which was requested to me already. So you will have it in 2 days. Day 1 will have the first portion of it, complete line by line explanation, as this is the first time I am giving you this video. And yes, then again you will also have the day 2 of it with the rest of the explanation. It is a story which is a little big, so we will have 2 days of it so that it is not boring for you. You will have pictures, a beautiful explanation of it. I guarantee that once you are done with it, you will be crystal clear with the topic. So without any delay, let's begin with our Salvatore. What are we going to do over here? As you see in the slide, this is for the ISC batch. It has a complete analysis of the story, a complete idea, explanation of the story. The summary, of course, you will get over here. You will get the whole story here. Title analysis, why it is suddenly called Salvatore and not any other name. So, and the relevant questions that can come from here. These are the 5 things that we are going to do in today's class. Let's begin with the first slide. Our first slide has the first page of Salvatore. We will begin the story. I wonder if I can do it. So initially the author himself is worried whether he will be able to do something. Now what thing, this we will talk at the end of the story. We will not disclose the climax. So here it is kind of very strange. It is a doubt in the author himself whether he'll be able to do something. I knew Salvatore first when he was a boy of 15. So when the narrator knows the boy Salvatore since he was 15 years old. He had a very pleasant face and a laughing mouth, that means always smiling, and a carefree eyes. He isn't bothered about anything the world's worries. He's not bothered about all that. He used to spend the morning lying about the beach with next to nothing. That means he wore nothing almost. He used to lie on the beach in the morning. And his brown body was as thin as a rail. So he was very lean. He was full of grace. He was very graceful. You have a lot of a smile on the face. The look, it tells you that you are very graceful. People love to talk to you. He was in and out of the sea all the time, swimming with the clumsy, effortless stroke common to the fisher though. So generally, he was always at the sea. He's a fisherman's son, and he was always there on the sea. He could swim well. That is the way a fisherman's boy, the child of a fisherman, will enjoy his time. Scrambling up the jagged rocks on his hard feet, that means just beside the sea, there was a mountain, the cliff. And he used to, scramble, somehow manage to climb the rocks. For except on Sundays, never wore shoes. So he was never wearing any shoes, only on Sundays, because these are poor families. They could not afford shoes every time. And on the sand, he would prefer wearing no shoes at all. Only on Sundays, the days when he had to visit the church, he used to wear the shoes. He would throw himself into the deep water with a scream of delight. So he used to climb the hill and jump from that rock so that he could dive into the sea. And that was a delightful action of his. His father was a fisherman who owned his own little vineyard, and Salvatore acted as nursemaid to his 2 younger brothers. So his father, he was a fisherman, and he had a vineyard. That means the vines, maybe the grape vines, some kind of vines used to grow in his vineyard. And Salvatore used to take care of the younger brothers. He shouted to them to come inshore when they ventured out too far, and made them dress up when it was time to climb the hot, vine-clad hill for the frugal midday meal. Frugal means very little. It's nothing very, kind of delicious. Always delicacies are present there in the house. It's not like that. Whatever was the midday meal, he used to call his brothers to come up to the house so that they would not go, very far into the sea, which is dangerous for them. He used to take good care of the little brothers. I hope the first 2 paragraphs are crystal clear to you. Next. But boys in those southern parts grow apace. That means they grow very fast. In a little while, he was madly in love with a pretty girl who lived on the Grand Marina. So Grand Marina, what is this? See over here, it was a Grand Marina is actually a place in Italy, and there was a lady, and she was perhaps very beautiful, and Salvatore fell deeply in love with this lady. She had eyes like forest pools and held herself like a daughter of the Caesar. Actually Julius Caesar was a king, a Roman king, okay, and he was very famous. So it seemed that this lady of Grand Marina felt that she was some kind of, some princess, and she used to give herself a lot of airs. She was very proud and she looked very beautiful. But they could not marry till Salvatore had done his military service, and when he left the island, which he had never left in his life before, to become a sailor in the navy of King Victor Emmanuel, he wept like a child. So they could not marry before that. During that time, all the young boys, had to work somewhere, maybe in the navy or in anywhere, any kind of army. They had to work for some period of time. So he also had to go and work in the navy. That means be a sailor for some time, and that was very difficult for him, because for a long stretch of time he would be out of his island, out of his homeland, and he had never done that ever in his life. He had always lived on his island. So he started crying like a little boy. It was hard for one who had never been less free than the birds to be at the beck and call of others. So he was just like the birds, as free as the birds. It was harder still to live in a battleship with strangers instead of in a little white cottage among the vines. So he could never even imagine that he had to now go and live with people on the ship, whom he did not even know. They were all unknown to him, strangers. And he had to leave his little cottage here and go away somewhere else. And when he was ashore, to walk in noisy, friendless cities with streets so crowded that he was frightened to cross them, when he had been used to silent paths in the mountains and the sea. So now, after a few days, you see what the ship will do is, maybe for fuel or whatever it is, for whatever purpose, they used to go to some port or harbor, and in those places maybe the people on the ship were given some leisure time. They could go and move around, okay, on the land, so that they are not feeling very sick of the sea. So even then Salvatore was not much happy, because he felt that here also I am unknown to people. This is also a place which I don't know, and there are strangers around me. So he didn't like on the sea also, neither when they went to a port and they visited different places. He didn't like it. He was just homesick. Now, I suppose it had never struck him that Ischia, which he looked at every evening, it was like a fairy island in the sunset. So the place where he lived, this place, he never thought that. See, when you live in one place, you don't know the importance of that place in your life, right? When you go away, maybe you never think that this is your house, I live over here and I will forever live here. But when you have to go away from here for a job or maybe something else, or maybe you're married off, you will feel that the importance of this place. You'll be homesick. Same way, he also never understood the importance of Ischia. But when to see the weather would be like next day, or Vesuvius pearly in the dawn, had anything to do with him at all. So he never understood the importance of this place. He never even realized what importance this place had in his life. The Vesuvius, which he saw every morning, and it was something, the weather, he was not even worried ever of the weather, of the beauty of the land in which he lives. But now every single thing he missed. But when he ceased to, before we move to knowing what he ceased to do, this is Eurasia. This is the place where Salvatore lived. This is actually an island, and you can see the mountains around and the beauty of the land. So all these things he started missing deeply. So this is the picture. I think everybody has seen it. We'll move to the next page. So when he ceased to have them before his eyes, he realized in some dim fashion that they were as much part of him as his hands and his feet. So now when he does not get a glimpse of this beauty of this beautiful place, he started feeling homesick, and he felt that the place was just like his hand, just like his face, just like his hair. That is just a part of your body and you cannot do without them. He was dreadfully homesick. He was extremely, extremely homesick. But it was hardest of all to be parted from the girl he loved with all his passionate young heart. So you see, when you have to leave your girlfriend, when you have to leave your lover and go away somewhere, you feel that is the hardest thing to do. He wrote to her in his childlike handwriting. He was very young, and he wrote it like that in long, ill-spelled letters, in which he told her how constantly he thought of her and how much he longed to be back. So even from the sea, he used to write letters to the girl stating that I miss you like too much and I want to come back every single time. Longed means desired. He was sent here and there to Spezia, to Venice, to Ban, finally to China. Here he fell ill of some mysterious ailment that kept him in hospital for months. So now what happened was, after a few journey from this place to that place, he suddenly fell sick. And when he went to the hospital, mysterious ailment means mysterious disease, some kind of disease. And when he was sent to the hospital for a few months, he bore it with the mute and uncomprehending patience of a dog. He was silent, he did not complain about anything, neither any pain in his body nor any worries. When he learned that it was a form of rheumatism, what is rheumatism? Rheumatism is actually a kind of disease. We will see it over here. This is actually rheumatism. Rheumatism is a kind of disease where you have ailing joints, okay, joint pain kind of. Okay, so that made him unfit to further service. His heart exalted. So when you are sick, you are unhappy. But he became happy. Why? Because he felt that, okay, this is happiness. No, I can now go back to my own home and enjoy over there. And joint pain, because of joint pain, you are not, given to work where you have a lot of hard work to do. You become incapable in those places because you will have joint pain and you cannot do hard labor, right? So he was very happy that now he could go back home. And he didn't bother. In fact, he scarcely listened when the doctors told him that he would never again be quite well. So he was not unhappy to hear that he will never be okay again. He will always be sick from now on. Rheumatism is a disease which will never be cured. He was not unhappy because he knew that he could go back home. What did he care when he was going back to the little island he loved so well and the girl who was waiting for him? So he knew that his lover was waiting for him, his parents were there, his own island was there. So he was extremely, extremely happy. He knew that as soon as he goes there, he will be cured from every sort of illness. Now, when he got into the rowing boat that met the steamer from Naples and was rowed ashore, so when, directly the ship will not take you to the shore. The ship will leave you at a place. From there, a boat needs to take you to further inland. So when it rowed ashore and when he stepped on the land, he saw that his mother was standing on the jetty with his father. His brothers were there, big boys, they have grown now in this time. And he waved to them and he said hello to them. His eyes searched among the crowd that waited there for the girl. So he kept on looking in the crowd, trying to find where his lady love was. He could not see her. There was a great deal of kissing when he jumped up the steps, and they all, emotional creatures, cried little when they exchanged their greetings. So they were very happy, the family reunion. So they were very happy, they hugged each other, kissed each other after so long they were meeting, right? They had not seen her for 2 or 3 weeks, so in the evening, so his mother told him that she did not know. They had not seen her for 2 or 3 weeks. So in the evening, when the moon was shining over the placid sea and the lights of Naples twinkled in the distance, he walked down to Gran Marina to her house. So now he asked his mother what has happened to her, the lady in Gran Marina. So mother also said that she didn't know anything about her. So the Salvatore decided to go to her house and inquire what is the problem, what has happened. So he visited when it was already night. She was sitting on the doorstep with her mother. He was a little shy because he had not seen her for so long. So after a long time, if you meet your lover, you will feel shy. Okay. So the boy was very shy because he was to see her after a long, long time. He asked her if she had not received the letter that he had written to her to say that he was coming home. He had been constantly writing letters, so he had also informed that I am going to return soon. So didn't you get the letter? I had already informed that I am going to come. I didn't see you at the shore. I thought I'll meet you there. He was expecting her, right? So yes, they had received a letter and they had been told by another of the island boys that he was ill. So it's not just the letter that they have received. They have also received the information that Salvatore was very sick. Salvatore was suffering from rheumatism. So what has happened? Yes, that was why he was back. Was it not a piece of luck? So what is Salvatore thinking? Yes, I am sick, but you see, this is a very good thing. At least for the sickness I could come back, I could see you. It is such a great thing for me. Oh, but they had heard that he would never be quite well again. So, what do you think is going to happen over here? The doctor talked a lot of nonsense, but he knew very well that now he was home again, he would recover. So, for Salvatore, he knew that he is coming home and he would recover soon. But for the girl, for the family of the girl, let's see. They were silent for a little, and then the mother nudged the girl. That means pushed, like this. So the mother had already told something to the girl, and the girl must tell that to the boy. That means she should inform something to Salvatore. Now what is this something? They were silent for a little, and then the mother nudged the girl. She did not try to soften the blow. So it's not that the girl didn't want to say something like that. She was also pretty interested in that. Her mother just told her, say it. And the girl told it without any kind of sympathy, any love. There was no love in her words, no sympathy in her words. She told him directly, straight out, with a blunt directness of a race, that she could not marry a man who would never be strong enough to work like a man. So, what is the problem? Why did the girl not visit him after he came? Because she did not want to marry him anymore. Why? Because he is sick and he is not strong enough to work, and therefore he is incapable as a husband. They had made up their minds, her mother and father and she, and her father would never give consent. So her father would not allow, and it seems from the behavior of the girl that the girl was herself, over with the relation. She was not even worried that how would Salvatore feel. This is kind of a very, it is a kind of a blow on Salvatore. She did not even try to soften the blow. She directly told him that I don't want to marry you. Okay. So here we come to an end to the first portion of Salvatore's life, where he worked, he fell in love, he suffered some sickness, he fell in love, and he had a broken heart too. So this is the portion till which we are going to do today. The next part is the next half of his life, the middle-aged Salvatore, that we are going to do. When we will see that this portion also talks about Salvatore's goodness, right? He's a very good man. He loved his homeland. He loved his girl a lot. Okay, he did not even worry about his sickness. He just wanted to come to his lady, meet her, right? So these also talk about Salvatore's goodness. Next portion also we will see now when nothing is wrong in your life, you will be good to everyone. But as soon as maybe I try to harm you, immediately you would also want to harm me back. So now the girl has wronged Salvatore, right? So now Salvatore should seek revenge. So we will see in the next part whether Salvatore does something like that or he is really, really very good. Okay. So that's all for today. We will meet in the next video, complete the next portion of Salvatore.